Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and this time I'm talking about music. I often get asked the question, will music help me study? Will music help me concentrate or do better on my homework? And the answer is mixed, and not only mixed for me, but mixed in terms of the research as well. I've looked at the research and it will say yes and it will say no at the same time, and so will I. I will lean toward no, generally not. However, there are times when music can be helpful, and that's generally if you cannot find a quiet place to study. Normally I would recommend finding a quiet corner or a quiet room if possible, and setting it up, as I've mentioned in other videos and blogs, setting up a little learning corner or room if you're lucky to have a whole room with your supplies and everything available, and silence, or as close to silence as you can get. However, I realize that that's not always possible. There are other family members, you're living in a city, you have roommates, so there's situations in which you cannot have complete silence or even near silence. So in those situations, music can be helpful, but only if it's background music. In other words, it's basically sort of drowning out the other peaks and valleys of noises. So if there's car doors slamming or children playing, which is a great sound usually, but maybe not when you're trying to focus or concentrate, you need something to sort of level off that sound so that it's not startling you and attracting your attention all of the time. That's the issue, is when our attention is taken away from our concentration. And that can happen with music. So music is not always helpful. In fact, it often isn't. When students ask me if they can play their music and wear their earbuds during tutoring sessions, I always say no, that's not possible. First of all, I want you to hear what I'm saying, and it's very important for you to concentrate on what I'm saying when I'm trying to introduce something new or teach you correction. But also, even when you're working independently, working on your own, I have a couple of times allowed some music, and I always notice this, or the lips are moving to the lyrics. So that means you're not 100% or even 90% focused on the work that you're supposed to be doing. Your mind is really split, and often more on the music than it is on the work. So you may be technically reading the text, but you're not comprehending it because your mind is really comprehending the music. So that's why music can be unhelpful at times. But if you can play it in the background without lyrics, would be best. Ambient music, you can find some on YouTube actually. I have not used that, but I listened to a couple of them, and if you're careful, you can find one that will work for you without lyrics, just the music in the background. Set the level so that it drowns out other noises that might be distracting, but isn't so loud, because even that, it would be distracting if it's too loud to interrupt with your concentration. You can also run a fan. I run fans sometimes to go to sleep. If there's noises outside, I'll turn a fan on. That just levels the sound out so that it's not so distracting when you're trying to go to sleep. That also works when you're trying to focus or study, because it just creates a basic white noise in the background, as they call it. And you can buy very cheap white noise machines as well. I haven't tried them, but I've seen them online, and that should accomplish the same effect, so that you have this sound level that will stop the peaks and valleys of noises around you and help you to focus and study. But there's nothing within it, no lyrics, no talking, nothing within that white noise that will interfere with your ability to concentrate. So yes, it can be, but classical music or instrumental music of some kind or ambient music, those are much more helpful. Anything with lyrics, particularly songs you like, and why would you play something you don't like, that's probably going to interrupt with you. You hear a song you really like, if the radio's on, for example, you're more likely to stop so you can listen to the song or even sing along and dance to it. And that's great at times when you can do that. And that's the other piece I'd like to mention. I love music. It's not that I don't like music. but I like to pay attention to my music as well. And how do I do that? Not while I'm studying, because if I'm really focusing and studying, the music or the noises in the background disappear because I'm so focused. At university, it was not always quiet. It was often very busy. Certain areas were a lot of commotion, and it was tricky to get started. But once I was started, all that noise went into the background, and someone would practically have to yell at me before I'd realize they were talking to me. So that's where you want to be, and you can train yourself to get there. But it is better if you can find a quiet location, or if you can use one of these methods like a fan or a white noise machine, or play some ambient or classical or instrumental music in the background. So those are my thoughts on music. I would generally say, if you're a parent with your kids at home and they want to play music, they're not really wanting to play music most of the time so they can focus and concentrate. However, choose something that might be popular, but if you can find something without the lyrics, could be the same music, same songs, but without the lyrics, you can probably find it online, and keep the level relatively low. That might satisfy both. I have played some classical music here a couple of times. Students roll their eyes, but they'll take it. It's better than nothing. I don't do it very often, though, because it's challenging even then for them to really focus on their work. Multitasking is a failure. The research is clear on that. Multitasking does not work. True multitask, well, there's no such thing as true multitasking, actually, because the brain doesn't work that way. You can walk and chew gum at the same time, but that's not multitasking. Not really. So this is the same idea, because if you really want to focus and concentrate, you can't be switching back and forth between the music and your work. So it has to be only in the background. All right. Now I would just start rambling even more and more, so I better stop. Don't forget, if you like the video, click on the thumbs up. I hope you like it. If you have a comment or a suggestion, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can put it below. If not, you can click on the website link. I'll put that below as well, and send me an email with your question or comment. I always like to hear from you, and I respond as quickly as I can. I will put a link below for my Udemy online courses also. Don't forget about the read-along program. And subscribe to the channel and click on that notification bell. When you click on subscribe, there's a little bell. Click on that, and then you'll be notified when there are new videos coming up if you're signed into Google or into YouTube. All right, it's Ron Johnson from L.T.L Tutoring Central. In the meantime, keep having fun, keep learning, and keep the music low. Okay, bye-bye for now.